right, everybody, welcome back to another great episode of Basscast Radio. It is Wednesday night. It is that time of the week where we record the latest episode, like I said, guys, of Basscast Radio. So, guys, really appreciate you listening. Again, I'm Brian, your host. Top of me, if you guys are watching on YouTube, is Hank the Bass Geek. Just FYI, Geek's still under the weather a little bit, but we're glad to have him with us. He even did it last week under the weather. So, I mean,
hey, he went out Monday, filmed 4 videos.
Oh, geez.
So people are going to hear this voice for weeks. I know it's going to sound so great. And then went fishing yesterday, got another video. So then we got 5 videos that's coming. Got a little bit of shad spawn action.
That
was
some
good. That was some fun stuff. But I feel great. The lungs still a little tight, but we're getting better. And all the coughing is making me sound like a 50-year-old going through puberty. So
you heard that. Wow. But hey, we're glad to have you, and that's the main thing. Glad you're back, and not back with us, but with us. Period. Like I said, we're because you went through it it started last week, and hopefully we can get it all finished before the next episode and before you shoot another 5 videos.
Yeah. Well, a buddy of mine was like, man, I can't believe you're out on the water fishing and filming. And I said, Luke Duncan called me the hardest working man on YouTube. And I said, I'll wear that patch right there for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So
all right, so this weekend, you guys all know it's a holiday. Hopefully you are off the water for the most part. I did see that there's a tournament going on. I want to say that tournament's on Claytor Lake, and I want to say it's a Region 4 event, TBF event. So, yeah, please be safe out there. Holy cow. And it's a normal hours tournament, so they're not changing the hours. I'm sorry, but if I was going to host a tournament on a holiday, it would probably be from 6 o'clock till maybe lunchtime and then be done and off the water.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry, but hey, guys, be safe. The Basscast.com was in North Carolina last week, Kerr Lake, for the CAT 2024 championship. Got to hang out with the team. Congratulations to everyone. I don't have it here, but I can tell you this: the winners of that event. You want to, guys. Here you go. I want to stutter on this one here for a second, but if you guys are not fishing cat, you're crazy. I mean, you really are. They've got one heck of a payout for their championship. I mean, and they got many side pots. Congratulations to Billy Dunn, and Eddie Glasscock. They had a two-day total weight of 29.69, and if I remember correctly, they took home $24,000.
Woo!
Now that's all the side pots. They do a gold, silver, bronze, all the other stuff. It's guaranteed 10. But they pretty much made what I made my last job in one tournament. And I think you only have to fish a couple tournaments, to qualify for the CAT championship. So make sure you guys get qualified for 2025. If I remember correctly, there were 216 boats in this event. So, I mean, and if you didn't.
It's like a great series.
Yes, it is a great series. And if you didn't have at least 13 pounds after day 1, it would be a really, really tough day 2. And day 2 is already tough because, that Kerr Lake's big. It's a huge lake. It goes from Virginia to North Carolina. And the boys said it got blown out a little bit, but the water was in the bushes. Some people like it in the bushes. Some people like it low. So it was a different Kerr Lake than in the past. Now I've seen it up in the bushes before, but it's kind of, in my opinion, it's really unusual this time right now to see it up in the bushes.
Yeah.
So congratulations to them on winning that event. Like I said, Fish Cat. I mean, there's so many. Go to their website or go to basscast.com. I have most of their tournament schedules on the website. But if you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and they got a tournament series in Georgia, and you want to qualify for this championship in 2025, get started this weekend. So that's my thingamajiggy there. Geek has been dropping some videos, like you said earlier. What's the latest, Geek?
The latest is a video that is a pretty unusual swim bait and swim bait technique. So, we just labeled it, the rules don't apply to this swim bait. Might want to go check it out.
All right, you heard it right there. You might want to go check that video out.
If you can understand anything I'm saying.
Now you'll be able to understand it. He should have run it through AI and it just would have recreated his voice to where it sounded the original voice of Basket.
Yeah.
That's funny. Guys, before we bring on our guest tonight, we got Mike Corbishley from the NPFL. They just had their second event last weekend on Lake Hartwel, a lake that I will be at in October for the Bassmaster Open final event of the 2024 season. So I'm really looking forward to that. But guys, check us all out. If you want to be a part of our Patreon, we'd love to have you be a part of that. It's $5 a month. Help support Basscast Radio. Also, if you don't, YouTube, click and follow us on YouTube. And if guys, I'll go through it really quick tonight, Geek. Spotify, Apple Podcast, Deezer, Google Podcast for now, which is mainly going to YouTube, Castbox, Spreaker's where it's hosted, and iHeartRadio actually owns Spreaker. So that's why it's all there, and they actually own Spreaker itself. So iHeartRadio, all the shows are there as well. So guys, head on over wherever you listen to podcasts and click the like and click the follow. Please leave us a comment. That helps push us up on the rankings. Really, really would appreciate that. But guys, NPFL $100,000 champion Mike Corbishley right here on Basscast Radio. All right, guys. Mike Corbishley, welcome to Basscast Radio. Dude, you guys who are watching on YouTube, the trophy is right behind his left side. I mean, if you've never seen the trophy or never had the opportunity to pick one of these bad boys up, it's probably one of the coolest trophies ever made. I mean, they went all out. I mean, it's probably just their cost alone is probably about $250 to $300 a trophy.
I don't know, but I can promise you it's, as far as the check goes, the money will spend. That thing's sweet.
That's right.
I don't know what they spent on it, but it's worth $100,000 to me.
Heck yeah. I had some people reach out to me, guys, a while back. And there's somebody like down in Florida, and they're like, we want to send you these really cool trophies. And I was like, all right, let me just go take a look at them. The first one was $100, and it went to like $200 to $300 after that. So I was like, guys, I give out a $12 plaque. I get up the road. I mean, with my budget, that's about all they're going to get, because I don't mind making $1 off of this event. But, hey, it is what it is. First of all, congratulations. How you feeling, man? I mean, settled in a little bit. You're back home.
Yeah, kind of. I'm feeling great, though. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's been unreal. I've had more texts and calls from people than I know what to do with. I'm not, I'm super thankful, man. I've been speechless for a week, and I still don't really know what to say about it. It's kind of one of those deals where, I've talked about it with my wife, my family, or whatever else, just like, come leading up to the event, like, oh, it's your time, like you're due for one and whatever. But you can't ever really guarantee something like that, because there's guys who have been on tour for a very long time and not won one and had God knows how many top 10. So I'm like, hey, if it happens, it happens. I'm just going to try to put myself in a place where I can, compete.
Take advantage of it when the opportunity arises.
For sure. And I guess that's what we did last week. So.
That's what you did. And I watched all weekend.
Did you?
I was off, so I got to watch everything and keep up with you. So it was pretty neat. It was a good event.
Yeah.
Fish tough. I think a lot of people,
Yeah.
viewers, were thinking maybe it was going to be, like Murray with
Yeah.
the herring deal, but a
Mhm.
little tougher event.
Well, it's crazy. And like, I talked to Luke that second day. Duncan, he was like, "Are you going to catch him tomorrow?" Because like it was slow on live today. And I was like, I mean, I said, man, day one, I caught probably 30, and day two, I caught probably 30. So
Yeah.
it's like, hopefully I'm catching them all day. I mean, I never got on a morning bite. Like 2022, I caught all my fish in the dirt, herring spawn, throwing a spook, like the fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
This time around, I tried to make that work and was just like, it's not happening. Like I
No.
started in a new spot every single day between practice and the tournament. I'm like, I'm gonna have to find them somewhere in the mornings, but I never caught them. And like, I day three, I told Luke, I was like, oh, I'm gonna catch them. Like I caught him when it was bluebird size. I caught him when it was cloudy. And then day three, I caught not. So we launched at 6:30, and I had a long day, so I didn't check in
Right.
till like 5:15.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like 11 hours or something. Dude, I caught 9 bass, like 11 hours. And I caught 4 of my wayfish in the last hour.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, all
Wow.
Yeah.
together. Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's
So
almost as bad as going to work for 9 freaking hours and not doing a daggone thing. I mean, what'd you do? I
felt
did
that
2
way.
things today. That was it. I mean, I did whopping 2
Just
things for
gotta,
9 hours.
Yeah.
It does make
you
for an
just,
extremely long day. So,
but the pressure though, you're coming down to the last hour and you're like, what's happened here? Where's my
Yeah.
bite?
It was not good. I had legit like probably like 9 pounds or so. And I was like, this isn't good. Storm rolls in. Okay. When a storm rolls in on that lake,
Yeah.
like fish bite, like storm rolls in, pull up to a brush pile I throw out there, and I hadn't even fished this one in the tournament. I'm just like going fishing because I'm like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I throw, I throw out there with a fluke, and I catch one that's like a pound and a half, and I was like, all right, got rid of like a 12 incher,
yeah.
13 incher. Throw it back. I was like, hey, they're biting, whatever. I run to the next pile, catch one that's like 2 1/4, and then with a broken off Nico rig in its mouth, by the way, just to kind of explain the pressure these fish are getting. Go,
Wow.
go,
Yeah.
go to the next pile. I catch another one. I was like, they're biting. Like, so I run down to my juice, catch a 4 pound spot, run to the next pile, like down there that I broke a big one off the day before. Uh, and I was like, no way, it was bass. It was probably a striper because it was just pulled so hard. And then throw out there 5 pounder, jumps several times, comes off 10 feet from the boat. And I was like, that was the tournament. Done. Blew it.
Wow.
Lost it. Came in being a sore loser, talking to my wife. She was like, it's probably going to be closer than you think. I was like, nah, I just blew the tournament. Like when you
It's a
win
tough
tournaments,
day.
stuff like that doesn't happen. And
Wow.
I got lucky. Let's put it
That
that way.
third day was a tough day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy, but a lot of
Mike.
stuff happens in the last hour of tournaments, man.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
100%. I mean, and Ike and Ellie said it best, never give up. And, you never know when it's that time. I mean, you hear the announcers all the time, like in an hour, you could catch 20 pounds in an hour. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
you never know when it's going to happen or when the fish are going to turn on and bite, like you said. Mike, you brought up something pretty interesting a little while ago. You talked about putting yourself in the right place, to get this win. What do you think's been the steps in Mike's life that have helped him get to this place?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't
Yeah, I
know,
told you
man.
this. I told you we don't hit around here. I mean, it's
Yeah.
we
Yeah. No, so okay, so to give you like a brief 10-second overview of my life or whatever, 60-second overview. So I grew up around Raleigh and Wake Forest and whatever else, and I fell in love with fishing at a young age. My family didn't really fish other than like saltwater fishing, tuna fishing, stuff like that, offshore. And but other than that, like bass fishing wasn't a thing in my family. So it was kind of one of those deals where my dad had taken me when I was like 10 or 11. Good catches of pond fish, but like I never really fell in love with bass fishing until I went to ECU and college fishing.
okay.
And I mean, I did a little bit in high school, but like I didn't really like dive into college fishing.
Yeah.
And so getting to travel and getting a taste of like fishing all over the country, like that's what really did it for me. And during that time, I got brought on as as a pro staffer for Lowrance, and I was working some events for them on weekends and stuff like that, and that was kind of helping pay my college fishing bill because we didn't really have that stuff all covered.
Right.
Yeah.
So so that was kind of how I paid for some events and stuff like that in college, and then after that, ended up getting a job with Navico, with Lowrance, and moving to Florida for a few years. And I quit for I quit, I didn't really have a bass boat for like a year, just trying to get my feet under me, and started jumping back in Toyotas and whatever else, just trying to do a little bit of fishing after college. But man, I've always been around boats like that. That was I wanted to be in the industry. I just wanted to be around fish.
Yeah.
I want to be around boats. And anytime I have that, any free time I have is I work a lot, but all my free time is going towards fishing.
That's awesome.
Plain and simple. I'm in the garage tinkering with stuff all the time. If I get 2 or 3 this time of year, especially, if we weren't doing this podcast right now, man, I would probably be, even if I can only go for 2 hours, I'm going to the lake. I live right by falls. I'm going to go for 2 hours and I'll go do something. I'll go do something totally different than I know how to catch fish. I'll go pick up something totally random, just play with stuff, try to figure out a new way to catch a fish. And and that's it, man. And that's all I do is just anytime I'm not working, I'm working towards fishing. And I mean, that's it. I've just tried to always try to learn new stuff and fish and then research. And if it's rainy and rainy and the weather sucks, I'm sitting there on Google Earth looking at the next lake I'm going to, trying to figure out, so that's it. It's just, I think it's a dedication thing. You really gotta love it,
You do. That's I'm with you. I never, nobody really in my family fished. I always joke and say my papa, he was, he was a meat angler, but he also liked the Jack and Coke. So mom would never let me get on a boat with him, And, but he was just too much fun, I guess. But,
that's awesome.
For me, I'm the same way, man. I think everybody gets something out of fishing different. And I'm with you. I love to be able to learn a new technique, a new bait, a new way to use it. To me, that's what keeps me going, man. I just love to catch a fish on something new and different all the time.
And that's so I came up to you at Red Crest. We met this year for the first time, and we were just talking about that because I was like I came to introduce myself because you're on the cutting edge, as far as new stuff goes. And there's not a lot of videos out there on new stuff. And if you're
I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, I don't mean to pat my own self on the back.
Yeah.
But YouTube has kind of fired me to have to do that.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many. Because I fish local. I don't get to tour. I don't fish. Professionally. I'm not that good. But
I would say you are.
But the thing of it is people see where I fish, even if I don't tell where it's at.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I get emails or messages like, man, we won our club tournament on that spot you had in your video. And, I've had guys yell at me at Lowe's while I'm walking there, like, best Geek, man, that spot in that video, you talking about changing angles. Dude, I went up there and took an underspin and just cracked them. And I was like,
okay.
But
so I need you to go watch another 1,000 videos because I can't fish a tournament and win because you're going to take my money.
I learned quickly that if I'm going to continue to be able to fish these lakes I fish, I've got to think ahead. So that means like right now, forward facing sonar, me, I love it. I fish Highlands reservoirs. So I'm trying new baits constantly, small
100%.
spoons, small, and I'm doing things that I'm not hearing a lot of people talk about. And I'm like, okay, let me see. Oh my God, look how they react to that.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I think that's what kind of keeps me ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to make this.
No,
but that's the deal. You couldn't describe that any better because that's exactly how it is. And if I were to pick this computer up and take you in my garage and you know, it looks like your wall right there behind you, but it's like I got plus boxes plus 3 more walls.
Dude,
it's bad. I mean,
it's bad.
It's
awesome.
bad. And there's thousands of dollars of tackle in there.
Yes.
Wow.
That I don't know that I'll ever catch a bass on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I gotta have it. Like, it's like, oh, I saw a tournament one time where this dude caught 1 fish on it, and I ordered 26 packs because I want to be ahead of the curve.
Yes.
You guys are killing me.
It's just how it is. It's 100% an addiction.
Yeah.
I tell my buddy all the time. I tell my buddy Tackle Junkie, I'm like, that's the greatest name of any YouTube channel I've ever come across. Is Tackle Junkie. I mean, you should start a TA meeting or TJ meeting, you know, for Tackle Junkies Anonymous, right? You know?
My buddies at home are like, I'll just wait until you tell me what works.
Yeah. I literally have my son and my son-in-law and a couple of my friends that fish with me. I'm like, look, man, just come to the house and get some of this stuff. I'm like, just I'll show you what I'll give away right now. I'm like, if you need something, just come get it. I'm like, I got too much crap. I'm like, I'm gonna have to knock a wall out.
That's so funny.
Exactly.
Mike, let's talk about No, you're good. Let's talk about the NPFL a little for a few minutes here, man. You know, by the way, congratulations again on the win, but let's talk about how this whole thing came about with you in the NPFL, man. Because, you know, when it first started a couple years ago, it was invites and, you know, a lot of people, different people were reaching out. And how did you get involved with NPFL?
So for me, it was, so I was fishing. Okay, so I fished the Toyotas for a couple of years. Again, that was when I was first kicking off with my job, and I didn't really. The only time I was fishing at that time was when I was taking off to fish a tournament, and that was pretty tough, man. I did not do very well, and I was used to like college fishing where I was top 10 in a bunch, and like, you know, we were really consistent and we were catching fish, and 20-pound bags were like just the norm. And the next thing you know, you get to like you know, outside of school or whatever else, and that work thing takes over, and all of a sudden it's like I'm struggling, and I you know, it was like a total change of pace. And I fished in 2021, I guess it was. I fished those ABA Top 150 solos, and I really liked it because it was 3 events spread out throughout the year, and it was a $600 entry fee and a $20,000 first place. So it was like still enough money where it was like you felt invested, but and the opportunity to travel. Just to me, that was the biggest thing. Like, I wanted to just go learn new lakes and travel, and and that was what I enjoyed so much about college fishing. Me and a couple buddies, you know, traveled for that, and we had so much fun. And I did that, and I ended up finishing the first year I did that. I was fishing that year. I was fishing a good amount. You know what I mean? I felt like I was in the zone, and I did well. I got second in Angler of the Year by like a missed fish, you know, out of 150 guys. And and I was fishing good. I felt good about myself. Was winning some local tournaments too, and was like, hey, you know, I just had that momentum rolling, and I was signing up for him again, and my buddy Trent calls me, Palmer, and Trent was like, hey, he was like, you need to sign up for NPFL with us. He's like, me and Patrick are fishing, Walters, and you know, Justin Kimmel's fishing. I didn't know Kimmel at the time, but like, you know, I also knew a couple guys around the house, Jesse Wise, Jeff Hodges, and you know, they were signing up, and I was like, a lot
of good names in that list.
And I was like, man, you know, I know a bunch of people going to fish, and Perkins too had been like, yo, come on, come fish. I'm like, and I'm telling like, dude, I can't take 6 weeks off a year. Like, that's not happening. And then I started looking at the schedule, and I started looking at other schedules, and I'm like, wait, the way that they set this up is like, it's spread apart really well to where you can work a day job because the way that they have it spread out across the year. Like, taking 3 tournaments off in like a January, February, March, or you know, something like that, like real early in the year, is just a lot on a work schedule. NPFL is a little bit more post-spawn heavy, which is good with my work schedule. And outside of that, I mean, if you go like, it's just spread out really well, and it's a variety of lakes. The biggest thing is the money. If you can swing the entry fees,
yeah,
and it's expensive, then it's a lot more conducive to the regular dude working a job. But I mean, so I was like, started looking at it, was able to put together some sponsor money and get some support, especially with Lowrance and Navico. Those guys really helped me out, being able to go do it.
That's cool.
That's the company I'm working for. They
yeah.
supported me. It was a big deal. Like it still is to me. And I'm super grateful for that. But being able to do that, so I ended up jumping in, and that's kind of it. I guess that was 2022 was my first year, so I did all right. I mean, the first year I got, I think, 29th in Angler of the Year, and I got one top 10 and two other checks. So it was good, but last year
was it a relearning curve for you? Like I said, coming from the college rankings, and then fishing some local tournaments, but then going back out on the road again.
No, because I never really felt like I stopped. Like, even though I sucked in some of those Toyotas or whatever, and then top 150 solos I was catching, I'm like, that was also the same time COVID happened. And I know COVID was kind of rough on a lot of people, but I'm going to tell you right now, COVID was probably the biggest contributor to me getting back to like where I felt like I was good at catching them. And I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It opened up. I went from traveling like 200 days a year to like, and then it kind of slowed down some as I went on to like 60. You know what I mean? So just the time of just being on airplanes and whatever else when you're all over the place, to where like, hey, like there's like, so I call on all the boat manufacturers and boat builders for work. So like I was working, I was gone for like 60 days dang near for dealer meetings where they bring in all their dealers to the boat manufacturers.
Right.
And I mean, that's another 60 days that just opened up because they don't.
Yeah, they couldn't do anything.
So, so it's like, I'm still working, but the difference is like now I'm home on weekends and I'm able to to be a little bit more consistent with my schedule. And that kind of carried on, and now I'm in the middle somewhere, but it's, that was a big deal for me. And so that getting back to it, just staying fresh, staying on the water a little bit here and there, even if it's a couple hours in the evening or on the weekends, like that's kind of what did it for me. I think that makes the biggest difference. Like COVID sucked, I know, but like for me, it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Like,
So what do you think about the schedule? That's one thing, because I know me and Brian have talked about it a lot. Speaking of COVID, we actually love, because I always use the Bristol repave as kind of a deal. I'm a NASCAR fan too.
Yeah.
And look, man, I like it when guys are mentally tested in hard times, and so I like to see, because let's face it, I get it. Pre-spawn, spawn, and immediate post-spawn. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
It looks good on film.
But I like to see guys like you, pros, who are out there doing the things I can't do, and showing me why you're a pro, because you put this time in, you've done this work, you've got this stuff figured out. And so I think that's one of my favorite things about the NPFL is the schedule. The schedule is spread out. I think that kind of hurts in people keeping up with it a little bit. But if you're a hardcore like me and Brian are, we love to see you fish in the fall, in the summer. I always say I'm best in the middle of the hottest summer, right in the middle of the day. Who is out there?
And you both, brother. I want it hot.
I've been out there before facing sonar, catching topwater bass over 100 foot of water. Yeah. And people are like, "How do you do this?" And I'm like, "Well, I do it. I know a thing." And but they don't have that. It's all night tournaments where I live. I can't take nobody's money.
We're here for night tournaments too. They start next month. I mean, night tournaments start up here on Smith Mountain Lake next month for about 2 months.
Yeah,
That's
but now,
funny.
how do you feel about that? You know, the schedule, the upcoming schedule, the rest of the year. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, so I'll be honest with you.
Uh-oh. He don't look at it.
No, I feel like we hit places at the toughest time of the year every stop we go.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, but look, I did not like the schedule last year, but I got paid in 5 out of 6 events and had like 3 top 10s. So I'm like, hey, maybe I did like the schedule and didn't even realize it
better than you thought. Yeah.
So I was like, hey, it was a pretty good schedule looking back at it. But like same story this year, but to an extent, like I like the schedule a lot. I like the lakes we go to. I love the schedule, but it does feel like we're always so close to hitting it right, but we're not on the money. Like as far as the times, like and Logan Martin, like that was a cool one. I don't think I just sucked down there, but like the second one, like okay, so Hartwell, it was like we're just after the herring spawn. They're in that weird post spawn funk after like a billion tournaments just hit it. And I don't think that's NPFL's fault on scheduling. I think that there's just been that many tournaments there. But it's a phenomenal fishery. Like I love Hartwell. It's been good to me. And then Pickwick, that's our third one. So that's end of or middle of July, like right after 4th of July weekend. Dude, the fish out there will have PhDs by the time we get there. Those ledge fish have seen it all.
They'll read the serial numbers. They'll be like, that's an 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9.
Yeah, they're like, that's a 6XD. No, that's an 8. That's an 8XD. So like, that's they already know what everything is by the time that stuff rolls around. That's when you start to see fish start to scatter when you throw the fun stuff in there. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out. It really will. And then we go to Saginaw in August. I did great up there last year. I got 3rd, but Saginaw, that was in July. I want to say it was June or July that we were there last year, but I think August is going to be tough. I mean, I really do. I think they didn't get a lot of ice this year, which means the water is going to be lower. So that makes the largemouth fishing less. Like there's less water to largemouth fish, and then I think that the smallmouth fishing is going to be tough by then. So I think it's like the middle of the heat, like September, October could be lights out. Like you could probably go up there and wreck them. And I'm going to say this: that fishery is phenomenal. Like I love fishing up there. It's really cool. But I think we're going to hit it at a tough time. Same story, St. John's River, man. I lived down at St. John's for 2 years, or a year and a half. Like September just is not good anywhere. So, and that's not NPFL specific. That just September just is tough. So I think but I think it's really cool. I think you see a lot of cool ways to catch fish and stuff like that. We'll see a lot of really fun things. I'm looking forward to that event. I do like that it'll be a grinder because I have an idea of what's going to be going on. And then we go to Lake of the Ozarks in October. So I don't know anything about Lake of the Ozarks other than there's a lot of docks. So
there you go.
I think that one could be hit or miss. It could be late turnover. It could not be. So again, it's like they're all a toss up. But I tend to do better in some of those tougher ones. But as far as what I think about the schedule, like I love that it's spread out. I love the diversity. I love that it's not like every single other tournament organization where it's like, we're going to go during the spawn. We're going to go during the spawn.
The spawn. That's for me. That's when I get to learn the most from you guys. Look, man, I tell everybody, don't get me wrong when I say this. Being able to catch them during the spawn, the good ones, it's tough. But I also see a lot of posts of people that are catching huge fish. So it can also be like the lotto. You just got to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
And so,
I'll take that luck.
Yeah, I'll take the luck too.
Yeah.
But you know, I love to see you guys get out there, and in the times when I'm on the lake going, well, this sucks. I hate this place. I'd set it on fire if I could tomorrow, you know,
That's
and
funny.
see you guys
But
still
that's most
catch 'em.
tournaments anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen the shirts. I hate this lake. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But it's good to see you guys and see how you guys break it down and are still able to catch them, because you know, in those tournaments, man, somebody's catching them.
We always say
somebody's catching them.
We always say that's the difference between the pros and the Joes. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is being able to break down a body of water. And that's why you don't see so many anglers making not necessarily the investment, but you know, that they're unable to break down a body of water in a certain amount of time before an event. You know, they're comfortable. They don't want to get out of that comfort zone because they know they can win, but you know, on that body of water. I mean,
and we know the whole argument of in another league about the young guys and you know the whole deal. But you guys, you know, you fished college, you know, you fished high school.
Yeah.
You learned to trust your decision making much earlier than guys like me who are 50, who, you know, who, hell, just be honest, I still don't trust my decision making when I'm out there. You know,
I mean,
but you know, you guys learn that a lot sooner, and I think that's the difference between being a pro and being able to compete at the highest level, is to see something and make that gut decision and trust that gut decision, and it goes and it works for you. And you know, that's obviously why you got a big fat trophy back there behind you.
I guess, no, and it's one of those things too. Like when you get that momentum going, I think it's with anything. You get that momentum going, and you start to that's why I think what you see this total opposite at times too, because you'll see guys that are fishing really good, and it doesn't seem like they can't make a wrong decision, and then you got guys where it's like, dude, that guy crushed him, and the past 2 years just has not caught him. It's easy to fall out of that too.
Yeah.
We all saw that with Hank Cherry. I mean, you know,
I don't know. I mean, he won. The guy won a few classics. I think he's good for.
But no, I mean that's what I'm saying. He won a few classics, and then after that, it kind of just dropped. I mean, he has, but that momentum just stopped. I mean, it just like the brakes just hit locked up on it.
And that's probably less his fault than it is all the stuff that comes with the classic winner too.
He's still probably soaking it in.
Yeah.
Mike, how do you think, you know, being this type of diverse schedule that we're talking about, do you believe that, you know, from your first year, what were some of the takeaways that kind of helped prepare you into year number 2 that helped, you know, learn fishing different bodies of water, different times than you're used to?
You know, it's funny, just to kind of like, I don't know, recap that. So I thought I started to figure out like, hey, I catch all my fish on the same baits and stuff like that. And I was like, I need to just really simplify this, because I find myself like in every single tournament with 15, 20 rods on the deck. And I'm like, man, why am I doing this? Like, why do I got all these rods up there? And I was like, let me start writing down what I'm catching my fish on and try to figure out really what I need to focus on. And let me tell you, I don't catch them on the same things at any tournament. so
I'm glad you said that, because I have been having this same thought. I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm like, I need to simplify. I'm like, okay, no, that's out the window now.
There's another 20 more rods.
Dude, so it's funny, like, and I might be like totally avoiding your, or like not even answering your question, right? But it is so funny. I wrote it down. I'll just read it to you right now, just because it's hilarious. Like, as far as what I've caught fish on. Okay, so 2022, first, I got 10th on Hartwell. I was in second going to the final day. Blew it, got 10th. Caught him on top water and a magic swimmer. Hold on, let me plug my computer and give me 2 seconds.
All right. Guys, tonight we got Mike Corbishley from the NPFL. And man, what a show. Mike's getting ready to break it down for us. And this for you guys out there who don't take notes, you should be taking notes. And Mike's going to go over some of his notes that he's taken, and we're going to listen to him right here. So quiet on the set, everybody.
So, like, as far as you've got to be able to throw a bunch of different stuff, and like that's the thing. We were going to talk about this earlier. Like, okay, 2022, Hartwell, I catch him on top water in a magic swimmer, like hard swim bait. Okay, Erie, I catch him on a drop shot in a Ned rig. Got 19th there, like good check. Toho, caught every single one of them punching mats. You got a good check there too. 2023, Pickwick, 3rd place, caught him on a swim bait. On bars. Wright Patman caught him flipping on a Senko and on a frog. This much water. Saginaw Bay, drop shot Ned rig. Hey, so there's 2 tournaments I caught him on Ned rig.
Smalley tournaments. Tournaments.
That's right. You follow Oklahoma. Magnum Trick Worm, drop shot, Demiki, Square Bill. Basically everything. Lanier, Demiki, hard swimmer, fluke, and shaky head on brush. So I was like, all right. Basically, I throw. I mean, like, there's some consistency. That was just past 2 years, right? Like,
yeah.
You're essentially like going back to what we were talking about earlier. You got to be able to catch them on like anything. I mean, the way when you get in those tough tournaments, you got to get comfortable with a spinning rod in your hands for sure. But there's definitely there's times to still catch them on fun stuff. But
that's so funny you say
that's
you got
awesome,
to get comfortable with a spinning rod, because for years, like
Yeah.
I love ledge fishing. I call, I don't care about Christmas. I call summer the most wonderful time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Last summer, it was top water and Demiki rig, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've had to go back and buy a whole bunch more spinning rods now
Mm-hmm.
because, it's like I'm starting to target those fish, and it's, you used to, I had like, okay, here's my big spoon rod, here's my little spoon rod, here's my 6XD, here's my 10XD,
Here's a
my
jig,
swim
here's
bait,
a big worm. That's it.
Yeah. So I'd have all these just power fishing, summer baits.
That's it.
It's changed so much. It's so funny now.
It is.
Yeah,
I've gone from 1 to 9 over the last 3 years. Spinner rods.
Oh wow. I love a spinning rod. I ain't gonna lie. I wouldn't have bait caster. I'd be like David Dudley. I think David Dudley catches all his fish on a spinning reel. So
100%.
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a crankbait on the end of it or not.
Yes.
He's made a career on a wacky rig.
Oh yeah.
But I'm good friends with Brandon Card, who's originally from around here. And one of the first times I really met and got to talk to Brandon, he was talking about how he was a power angler, and this is way back, but before
before he was fishing sonar and stuff. Yeah.
And well, it was, I think it was his 2nd year on the elites, and he was telling me, he said that's the one thing I'm finding out really fast. I've got
those boys live with a spinning rod.
Yeah. He said I got to get better with a spinning rod, and I was like, dang,
Yeah. It's that pressure, man. By the time the tournament rolls around, those fish are like,
oh yeah,
we've seen that. Like they, you know what I mean? It's just you got to talk every fish into biting.
Yeah.
And we talk about that too. You guys, for all you FFS people who get really pissed off, they still have to bite.
They do.
They still have to eat the bait, and some days they just.
I say 25% is the bite ratio.
It's just a tool, okay.
Hey, I'll tell you this on Hartwell, the 25%, I would have taken that number all day long. Dude, I went back and counted, and I hit 57 places, and I burned 40 gallons of gas, and I caught 9 bass in 11 hours. So that is a lot less than 25% there.
I'm gonna have to get my camera guy, my buddy Mike, to click. I'm gonna say I threw at a fish and click, so that I can get an actual, camera of what I actually throw at and what I actually catch.
That's a great idea.
Now catfish, man, my ratio is pretty daggone high.
Hey, there's some lakes that it's different. There's some lakes like probably over by you, some of that like East Tennessee stuff, like Western North Carolina. It might be a little bit different just depending on where you're at. But like Yeah, I think the lake definitely plays into that.
Oh yeah.
As
Well,
far as
the guys here though. I mean, that's the one thing I'll have to say.
Mhm.
Like I mean, it's probably been years ago that I
Mhm.
had guys who are studs on like South Holston and Cherokee
Yeah.
talking to me about what I call the bass bubble.
Uh-huh.
They're like, guys don't Demiki straight down anymore, and they're like they get them in when they're in that ball inside that shad.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, really? They're like, yeah, you can see it, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy.
Interesting.
These
Yeah.
guys, dude, these guys around here, these clear Highlands reservoirs, these smallmouth fisheries, they do stuff that just when I hear about it 5 years later, I'm like, holy cow, wow, that's
Well,
genius.
that's also where like a lot of those trends get set, man. Like
Yeah.
where you're at,
Yeah.
like a lot of that East Tennessee stuff, and there's a lot of places like Lanier, places like
Yeah.
Hartwell, like places like that. Like that's where a lot of trends get set. Like that's I guarantee you, there's techniques that guys are doing out there to win tournaments that
Oh yeah.
will not be in the spotlight for 5,
No.
6, 7 years.
No.
And it'll be something super sneaky, and it's probably somebody out there throwing 4-pound line with a 1/32 ounce weight or something ridiculous.
Well,
And
it's like tight lining. Tight lining.
yeah,
I mean,
how
that
long
was
has that been
something
around?
forever, man. That is on Cherokee and South Holston. I
Yeah.
I always jokingly called it the simple man's floating fly because
Mhm.
how we fished a floating fly. We would take and put a bobber, and it'd be a 10-foot rod, and you'd throw it on a 45-degree
Yeah.
bank, and the bobber would hit, and then you just let the fly pendulum down. We just got
Mhm.
to the point now to where we started taking gulp minnows and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
and flies, and we just throw it 45 degree with like 3 and 4 pound test, and we just sit there and shake and reel,
That is
and
crazy.
we
That's
used
something
to
I've never gotten
count it.
into, is the float and fly. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I know it does, but I'm
I
just
hate
saying.
it.
That's like,
when tight lining kind of popped up, I was like, "Thank you, God."
yeah, it's like a new alternative.
That's like up here on Smith Mountain Lake though, in Daggone Carolina rig dragging across rocks and stuff. I hate that with a passion. It's so freaking slow. You get bites, but it is so just pull and reel. I'm like,
Yeah.
God,
There is no telling how many 30-pound bags have been
oh
caught
yeah.
around
yeah.
here with a Carolina rig.
Yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah.
20, 30-pound bags. Like, I mean, good God, the ball and chain, it is as simple as it gets. But that's the other thing, man. Like, you can go out and there's so much stuff that doesn't work around my house that I just try to learn this different stuff. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't work, but when you go to a fishery and you hit it right, you definitely have the upper. Like, there's a lot of guys that aren't comfortable in the dirt. There's a lot of guys that aren't comfortable when it's shallow.
And that's the good thing about professional fishing, whether it be the NPFL, BASS. I think the days of being really great at one thing, it's over. And that's good for the sport because you don't see a golfer who's winning tournaments who can only drive well. Or who can only hit wedge or iron and that to me is a great progression, and it means we're moving forward because you cats can do it all, and you can do it all even if it's not your forte. You can do it all on the fly. I'm like, well, I've never caught a bass doing this, but this hard to work here because you understand the situation.
You still got to have confidence. I'll tell you this much.
You do. But now I'll tell you, that's another argument. I've always said confidence is overrated in a bait. And confidence
100%.
to me is more about like, yeah, sure, man, if you're throwing a 10-inch glide, but you know as well as I do. Now don't deny this. Don't give me the PA answer. But if you see a bait and you look at it, the first thing you're thinking is, what's the vibration? How subtle or how reactionary is it? Where's it going to fish great in a water column? And now I know this bite, this bite, this bite, this bite, this bite, that bait is going to show out on. That's confidence without ever picking up a bait, because you can look and analyze baits and techniques because you've had time on the water, and because you guys are just so dang good that you can pick it up and say, I'll throw that bait right now and I'll catch fish on it.
Look, I still don't put myself as like a,
I know you're just being humble.
I mean, but I do have confidence in what I throw, but like dude, like I'll travel with Patrick Walters. Like
here he is. Here's the Godfather.
You know what I'm
He's
saying?
good,
here's the Godfather. And he told us straight up, 2 weeks ago, he said, in 30 minutes, I got it nailed down and I'm ready to go.
Dude, he took a nap. He had one day of practice on Hartwell, and he went to the truck and took a nap for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then he missed the top 10 by like 2 places, and it ate him up. I was like, hammer. But here's the thing. So, I mean, the reality of it is like, you can learn a lot being around guys like that and stuff. And I've learned a lot. I mean, the other thing is though, like confidence, I think is super important. Like, somebody could tell me, I can't tell you how many times people have been like, you've had a conversation in a parking lot, talk, whatever else. Guys around the house here who I know are 10 times better at fishing, water willow or grass or something like that than me, and been like, I'm wrecking them on a frog. And I'm like, that's great. If I go throw a frog right now, I'm going to miss 7 bites, and I'm going to land 2 of them, and I'm going to have 2 for 10 pounds. I'm not going to have, you know what I mean? That's going to be all I have. So it's like, but if I have something that's an alternative, it's like, well, if I can catch I'll go throw a swim jig or whatever else. And you know what I mean? Like, you've got to have your baits that that you're better at than other people.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, like if there's baits that, like, if I know, okay, they're on a crankbait, then I can catch them on this. If they're on a shaky head, I can catch them on drop shot. Like, you got to have your deals in certain windows. And it's like you said, like, you've got to know, like you said, from experience, like you keep those wheels turning, like when you're at a lake, and there's always a light bulb that goes off, for sure. Like if it's a springtime tournament, or it's March, or it's like you pull up on the first rocky point with a red square bill, and you catch one, and it's like hooked with one hook, and you're like, kind of weird. Pull up to the next point, like, let me change to a little bit different crankbait here. Throw up there, gets 2 hooks on it. You're like, I got it. All of a sudden, you went from being like, was that a fluke, to, I'm already dialed with 2 bites. And the guys who can take all that information and digest it and run with it are the guys who win.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, plain and simple, like I think it's in any tournament, any professional tournaments, local tournaments, whatever. It's who can take the amount of information they got from that small amount of what they saw and open up the whole lake to them to where they go wide open and win the tournament.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're talking
like
about
Mr. Mike Corbishley.
I don't know. Hey, that one time.
That one time. All right, Mike, you're talking about baits there. June is right around the corner. If Mike could only have 3 rods on his deck right now, what would the 3 rods be rigged with?
In this month, the month of June or April?
The month of June's almost, May. It's May now. We're like, what, a week away? Yes, the 22nd. We're 8 days away.
Let's say June.
What would be coming I said June.
Up? Oh, did you? Okay.
Where at? Where am I at?
A clear body of water.
A clear body of water.
He's hitting that Smith Mountain.
That's our following. I mean, that's where
I've never fished Smith. So I mean, I don't know if I were to guess, but like, you can
pick your lake then.
No, I don't want to pick my lake because I'm going to I got a tournament there Saturday.
Golly.
If I'm fishing a clear body of water in the
deep body of water,
clear body of water. Let's say, I feel like top water, 100%, like some form of top water. Something that moves fast, like a fast top water. That's going to be my bait number 1. I don't know what that is.
Buzzbait.
No. It's going to
be buzzbait.
A buzzbait. It's going to be unless if they're on brim beds, then yes.
Quarter ounce gold blade.
Yeah, throw on brim beds maybe. I'm gonna say like some form of a big walking bait.
Okay.
Like
Oh yeah,
something like that. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna be my first bait, top water. Second is gonna be probably, I mean, I just won a tournament on a fluke and a shaky head, so it's really hard not to throw that in there. That's probably gonna be it.
Okay.
Is a walking bait, a fluke, and a shaky head. If it's a deep clear reservoir like that.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe
All right.
maybe a Demiki rig
Yeah.
instead of the fluke.
After where I'm at, the shad spawn's still going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, not here.
when
But
they
in
pull
June?
off June, yeah, no. Well, no, I don't know. Yeah, top water and a Demiki for me.
It's going to be covering water for sure.
Yeah.
Lots of water.
Yeah. Now, if it had a little bit more color to it and stuff like that, like if we're talking like a ledge lake or something like that, then it's going to be 100%. I'll still have the walking bait on the deck just in case. Try to catch a big one in the morning.
Yeah.
A big plug, and a big worm.
Big worm.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Nico Reed. Trust me on that.
Maybe so.
take that. Listen, trust me. Take that to Pickwick with you.
I can't get any information on Pickwick.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Never mind.
We better be speaking in general.
We are speaking in general. They're great on Douglas.
I'm gonna have to call the tournament director after this. No, I guess this is public info, anyways. I guess everybody hears.
Well, I have said I'll be honest. I've never fished Pickwick, so
okay. I think we're straight.
So,
all right, I got one question. We're gonna wrap this bad boy up. What are we?
Best Geek's getting me in trouble. I'm already.
I know, Dave. Oh my God.
All right, our last show, Geek's like, you're sitting in 20th place. Oh, I didn't really want to know that. Oh,
Yeah.
we dropped the bomb. It's like, all right, and sorry, we just looked it up. What was your biggest takeaway from your win, man? If you could look back on it right now, the biggest takeaway, something you learned, something that might help you later down in life. I mean,
biggest takeaway I learned. I don't know. I guess it's I'm trying not to sound super cliche when I say this, but like I said, I caught them all in the last hour. So it's 100% like have confidence and don't give up. I mean, Mike Iaconelli, like everybody's heard that quote like 9 million times, but it is very accurate. Like you never give up. Like if you're in that position to win, like I kind of felt like the top tens I had last year, like I said, I had 3 top tens and I lost by a pretty good bit.
Right.
But I felt like I kind of laid up because I was like, hey, I got to have a ridiculous bag to win today. Like, I'm just going to kind of make sure I catch what I can. I'll take the 3rd or 4th or 5th or whatever second place money it is, and I'll take it to the house, just being realistic. But I guess you've got to have faith that you're going to win. Like you better believe in your head you are going to win and stick with it. And I think that now that I've kind of tasted that a little bit, I think my mentality's kind of changed. Nice. And I think I have the ability now because I'm qualified for the championship and stuff, I kind of got the ability to fish a little bit more free and kind of take some more risks versus what I would normally do.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of money that goes into these entry fees, man. So it's like, hey, if I got $6,000 in an entry fee for this tournament, like I want to just kind of be conservative. Like, hey, I know I'm going to make $15,000 if I just catch this 15 pounds today. But like, I guess the change is in your head. Like you better be like, when you have a shot to win and you've felt that before, it's like you go from just playing it safe to like, I'm ready to risk it all.
I mean, like we always say, you're now playing with house. You're playing with house money now. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, you really are. I mean, you're blessed. You got a great sponsor from Lowrance,
100%.
helping you out. But that win right there will, help you, your family, and kind of it helps alleviate a little pressure throughout the rest of the year to be able to go out there and take them chances that a lot of anglers can't take.
Hopefully, it allows you to fish free.
Right.
That's how I like to put it.
Yeah, a lot of it takes a lot of pressure off. That's a great way to put it for sure. I'm blessed for sure, dude. Like
So,
Mike,
so I've always got
Hey.
one last question. I
I-
always like to ask anybody that wins a big fat check.
yeah,
What's one thing you're gonna splurge on?
I don't know yet. I've never had $100,000 sitting in my account.
Did the bank look at you funny? Did you bring the big check in and be like, "Hey"?
I got it sitting right over there. I brought it in. And you're like, you're like waiting for them to be like, damn, that's a lot of money. Like it's a really big deal. It's kind of like, it's pretty anticlimactic. You brought it in and it's like, here, like, you're like waiting on them to say something.
That is so funny.
There's $100,000. And bank teller looks at it and she's like, shakes her head and she's like, okay. She's like, National Professional Fishing. She win that fishing? And I was like, yeah. She's like, that's pretty cool. I got the wrong job. And just like,
golly, they don't understand how they don't understand this is like the lottery. It's like I've already spent 500,000 to catch
At least you said
okay?
something.
But that was about it. She's like, I got
awesome.
the wrong job. And like it was, it's in your head, it's built up like it's gonna be more exciting than
I would have totally walked in with the big check. You guys take these.
Yeah, can you take this?
Yeah.
It was, it's pretty straightforward, but I'm trying to figure it out. I have not figured out what in the world I'm going to spend money on. My wife and I have been talking about trying to buy a lot of land to try to build on or something at some point in time. So that's probably what it's going to go towards. Honestly, is just kind of getting me a little bit of a head start to be able to do that and not have to feel like I'm going broke if I buy a land.
Right.
Buy some
my father-in-law used to always say they'll print more money, they'll build new things, but they ain't making
you
land.
Can't build more of that. No, you cannot build more land.
They ain't making more land.
That is so true. Mike, we appreciate you coming on, talking with us tonight. Really did a great time there. Awesome guy. Where can people follow you on social media? Is there any sponsors you'd like to thank before you run off?
Yeah, I appreciate that. M Corbishley Bass is my handle on like social media and Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. Mike Corbishley Fishing. As far as sponsors, definitely would like to thank, like I said, Lowrance, Dirty Jigs Tackle, Nichols Lures, Cash and Rods, 13 Fishing, NCS SSI. It's a paint supplier over here. We've also got Power Pole, Boat Logics, Phoenix Boats, Mercury Marine, and I'm gonna forget somebody, and it's gonna kill me. But just huge thanks to everybody that supports me. It's a big deal. Bahia sunglasses, that's another one I missed. I'm sure I'm missing somebody else. I feel terrible about that. But
all right, guys. Either way, go check him out on social media. Give him a follow. Follow the journey into the you got Angler of the Year, the NPFL Championship. Some more trophies to be held up.
AOY's a stretch at this point, but I will be swinging. Let's put it that way.
There you go.
All right, guys. We'll be right back. Oh man, what a great show. Mike, like I told, Mike asked me about before he came on about, you guys ain't gonna hit me too hard. And no, man, we just want to talk fishing. That's about it. Yeah, I mean, the win is great. Like you said, the money is great, but the trophy will last forever.
Hardware lasts forever.
Yes. So the hardware will last forever, and that's pretty freaking cool. And what he's going to do with the money is even better, help his family. So that's pretty awesome there. Yeah. For their future, for that young man. But guys, really appreciate everyone taking the time to listen tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed tonight's show. It's a holiday coming up. What is it? Is it Memorial Day?
Memorial Day, yeah.
Guys, I don't get these holidays off, and I have not had these holidays off of my job in 17 years. So I kind of forget what holiday it is, because if you're at work, it really doesn't matter. But guys, for a limited time only, you can buy these gold diamonds to help me get out of that place. I need a lot of them, okay? But I want to leave. I want to do this, and me and Geek want to do this full time. You guys,
we do.
You guys know I am dedicated to the end. You guys also on social media. I wrecked my 4Runner. We're looking for another one. I got to get the rooftop tent on top of the car. We got to get back on the road. We got tournaments to cover, lakes to go to. We're not slowing down, but just because of this, it's just going to cost us. Well, it's going to cost me more. God. But yeah, that's beside the point. We are dedicated to the end, to the cause of what we're doing right here.
Yeah.
Don't forget, head on over, give Bass Geek a follow, like, hit the notification, do whatever you need to do there. Make sure you comment on this show. Contest, guys. Before we leave, guys, this month's contest, you guys are blowing it up. I don't know what happened this month, who all's done found it. It's simple, it's easy. It takes you a minute. Go to basscast.com. You can enter daily. I looked at the other day, and I only run these for 2 weeks so I put 2 newsletters together a month. We put one together on the 1st, one together on the 15th. We're sitting at 900 people getting a newsletter now. I do use your email address for the newsletter. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, that's where it goes. I don't sell it. I don't do anything. You can opt out of the newsletter if you want, but it's a great newsletter. Me and Bruce put it together. It's content you're not going to find on the basscast.com. A lot of opinionated content you're not going to find in there because some places you just can't step on all the toes at one time. But hey, that's what the newsletter is for. If you like inside dirt, information, tips, I will tell you this month, I wrote a really cool story the other day on dude wipes and on their dude wipes towels. Danielle bought me some. I got the rooftop tent. Sometimes there's places I can't take a shower and you just want to be fresh.
Yeah.
You up some, and I talk about it and what you can learn from it. So sign up for our newsletter. You're going to get 2. Right now, 2 until we find some more writers. And I'd love to do it weekly, but you're going to get 2. So sign up for that. Play the contest. It's a great prize pack this month. Free jersey giveaway. I had a guy from a frog sponsor who reached out to me about giving us some frogs. We got deep throat jigs to send us some jigs to give away, missile baits. You want to be a part of that? DM us today, and we'd love to have you guys. It's on fire here at the basscast.com and Basscast Radio. So, and hopefully by next week, guys, my boy Geek be back to 100%.
I just want my voice back. That's the biggest thing. Sound like what is Robert Kennedy right now?
Oh yeah, yes. Gosh. All right, guys. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you being a part of the family. Yes, tournaments, as you heard in the show, tournaments, last Basscast tournament for the spring/summer ends next weekend. That's another reason why I need a car. Ends next weekend. But after that, man, we're going to be on the road covering a lot more of the larger and bigger events. And then we'll be back locally right here in the fall. So appreciate you guys being a part of the family. Have a great night, everyone. And we'll talk to you all next week right here on Basscast Radio.